Trump's asking the Supreme Court to let his tariffs stand. Bond investors betting that his levies help the land. Reduce the debt with revenues from trade war fees, while farmers lose their markets overseas. John Deere's hurting, sales are going down. 600 million hit from metal costs around. American soybeans sitting in the grain. China's boycott causing farmers pain. Trade wars and tariffs shake the global stage. Economies dancing on uncertain wage. From Wall Street floors to farming land, everybody's trying to understand where the money flows, where the future goes in this economic game that nobody knows. Miran's heading to the Fed hot seat, facing lawmakers' questions, feeling the heat. Criticized the bank, but now must lead the way. Reconcile his past with his new role today. Mizuho's deal in India hits a wall. Valuation disputes causing talks to stall. KKR's portfolio of Avendus on the line. Cross-border banking running out of time. Trade wars and tariffs shake the global stage. Economies dancing on uncertain wage. From Wall Street floors to farming land, everybody's trying to understand where the money flows, where the future goes in this economic game that nobody knows. Copper's falling from its 5-month high. Traders waiting for the jobs data to fly. Treasuries bets growing, rates in the air. Small caps struggling, but some don't care. European Parliament demands a change. EU-US trade deal needs rearranged. Africa's finances on shaky ground. Global ripples when economies come unwound. From Tokyo to London, New York to Beijing, every decision echoes, every choice has a sting. AI promises growth, but will it lift us all? Or just the lucky few standing 10 feet tall in this interconnected world we share? Economic winds blow everywhere, from tariff battles to interest rate fears. We're writing tomorrow through our cheers and tears.
Good morning and welcome to your Thursday, September 4th news briefing. It's 6 a.m. Eastern, and we're diving into some major economic developments that are shaping markets and policy around the globe. Let's start with the big story dominating headlines. President Trump is asking the Supreme Court to allow his sweeping tariffs to stand after a federal appeals court invalidated this centerpiece of his economic strategy. The court found that a 1977 law didn't actually authorize these tariffs. But here's where it gets interesting. Bond investors are actually counting on Trump's tariff revenues to help rein in U.S. debt. They're betting that these trade war fees could offset tax cuts and keep government borrowing under control. It's a fascinating economic gamble that's playing out in real time. Meanwhile, the human cost of this trade war is becoming crystal clear in America's heartland. John Deere, that iconic American company, is really feeling the squeeze. Their sales are down significantly, and they're facing a staggering $600 million hit from higher metal tariffs. At the same time, American farmers are watching their overseas markets disappear. China has essentially boycotted American soybeans as part of this ongoing standoff. It's a perfect storm where U.S. farmers desperately need to sell their incoming crop, and China actually needs to buy soybeans in case their main alternative, Brazil, faces floods or droughts. But this trade war is preventing what should be a natural deal. Speaking of personnel moves, Stephen Miran, Trump's pick for the Federal Reserve, is preparing to face some tough questioning from lawmakers. This is particularly interesting because Miran previously served as one of Trump's top economic advisors and has been quite critical of the Fed in the past. Now he'll have to reconcile those criticisms with his potential new responsibilities as a Fed governor. It's going to be fascinating to watch how he navigates that transition. In international banking news, there's drama unfolding with Mizuho Financial Group's attempts to buy a majority stake in Indian investment bank Avendus Capital. The deal has hit a major roadblock over valuation disagreements and exit options for KKR, which currently holds the portfolio company. These cross-border financial deals are always complex, but this one seems particularly stuck. Market-wise, we're seeing some interesting movements. Copper has been retreating from a 5-month peak as traders anxiously await key U.S. jobs data coming Friday. That employment report could really cement views on how aggressively the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates at their September meeting. We're also seeing bearish bets against U.S. Treasuries proliferating, which is raising the stakes around that jobs data even higher. And here's something that caught my attention. Despite interest rate anxiety, some money-making small caps are still finding ways to thrive, even though many are heavily indebted and theoretically should be more vulnerable to rate concerns. Finally, on the international front, European parliamentarians from most parties are demanding changes to the EU-US trade deal, calling for significant revisions. And there's growing concern about potential financial meltdowns in Africa, where tariffs, aid cuts, and high borrowing costs have left many of the world's fastest-growing economies at serious risk. The ripple effects of that could genuinely affect the entire global economy. That's your economic snapshot for this Thursday morning. From Supreme Court battles over tariffs to struggling farmers to Fed nominations, it's all interconnected in this complex global economy we're navigating.